Vic Carucci, my longtime friend, Buffalo News and Sirius XM Radio. Your thoughts on the NFL annual meeting from your perspective and what you've been covering?
Yeah, it was interesting this year that there were so many proposals, especially the ones that dealt with instant replay, and of course, really none of them passed. The one that is going to be discussed more, I think, was the one that the New England Patriots put in about the fixed cameras, and obviously there's a big investment with that, as was pointed out. But the last I checked, the NFL has a couple of bucks laying around. They might be able to do that. I think any effort that makes this game, that makes officiating as good as it can possibly be, it'll never be perfect because humans are involved, but anything along those lines is a plus and is something that this league has long, I think, had attention to but shouldn't resist. I think the other interesting rules change that is still in discussion, it's going to happen, is some effect on the extra point attempt and the movement of the ball or whatever. I don't like this. I'm a traditionalist. I consider myself, an old school.
I agree.
And what's happened to me is that the suits, as they're known, the marketing people, the people who I know it's their job to make sure the game is always exciting, that every second of the game is something the fans want to take in, whether it's at the stadium or on TV. That extra point is the, quote, dead play, and liven it up. And they've convinced Commissioner Goodell that that's the case, so he's pushing for it. And I think what's happened really is he has said to the competition committee, look, we got to have this, figure it out. I mean, he doesn't have the answer. They've got to find the answer,
kind of
and then we'll see.
You're right about
it's an edict. Oh, it's more of an edict than I think the saying is ready, fire, aim. Yeah.
How do you think about the Bills this year and the teams you're covering? Because at one point it was the Browns, and now it's the Bills, right?
Right. I spent the last few years, almost 4, with the Browns, working for them, and really enjoyed my time there. And it was a fascinating experience to work from the club perspective, from the inside. But I love the fact that I am back at the Buffalo News, and this would be my 18th year, counting the 17 before I left for NFL.com. These are fun times. Rex Ryan is a fun coach to cover. The Pagulas, Terry and Kim, who own the team and also own the Buffalo Sabres hockey team, they've brought a new vitality to Western New York. The investment that they've made in downtown and in development, and you see hotels going up. You see a lot of things happening.
It's about owners getting involved.
Yeah.
See Oakland, it's about owners getting involved.
Right. With their communities.
And
it has to happen. I think we're at a point now where you just can't place a team somewhere and say, okay, just come and deal with us on these few hours each Sunday or whatever the sport is.
Are you signaling a warning regarding the LA situation?
What I'm saying is, no, I'm not saying necessarily I want to signal that, but I'm happy to address that. But what I'm saying is investment in the community matters. It really does. And I've seen this. I've been around this long enough to know when it really didn't, when it wasn't a topic, but it is now. People's tastes and attention span are so dominated by so many other things that you've got to give them something special, not just for their entertainment dollar, but also if you're living in that community, that you as owners are part of it and are growing and developing other things that bring the heat and light and action to it. The LA situation, another topic, and hearing Roger Goodell say that, at least acknowledge the possibility that a team could be playing there in 2016. He said it's, quote, not a focus, but he did say that a temporary stadium would be needed for that until one is built. And
I'm glad he clarified that, because the media was like, oh, stadium's going to be built next year, and I thought,
stadiums don't go up that fast.
No, they don't.
I mean, even with the greatest technology.
Now, my mission was to get that question out, to clarify that crap.
Well, I'm glad it was clarified. It was an important point. But I'm certainly wondering how that's going to work out. Robert Kraft said he fully expects 2 teams to be there. He said he wasn't speaking for the league, but I think that made a heck of a statement because he's one of the most influential owners.
Now, the Bills and the situation with E.J. Manuel and quarterback, how do you think that's going to play out?
I think it's going to be an interesting competition. Rex Ryan told me yesterday that in camp they're going to devote 2 fields to the quarterback competition. One where the younger quarterbacks would be there, and right now Tyrod Taylor, who had played with the Ravens, is one guy. Jeff Toole, a young guy that's on the roster. And if it's still this configuration, then EJ and Matt Castle, the veteran that they acquired via trade from Minnesota, on the other. So it'll be interesting to see how this all comes down, and we'll see. I think the whole thing is going to play out before our eyes. I think it's going to be very competitive. And in my mind, I think EJ is the guy. I think EJ is the one that has the leg up, because he's the young guy that the Bills want to see sort of win this job. And at this stage of his career, Matt Castle's a 10-year veteran, kind of bounced around the league and is more in that backup role.
It's hot out here. Tell them how to find you.
Be sure to go to buffalonews.com to check out my stories there. And please listen. I'm on every Saturday from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Time, Sirius XM NFL Radio.
And we'll see him at the draft.
There we go.
Great. Thanks.